There's a word in the English language that gets used every single day. Tech journalists use it. Sports commentators use it. Politicians use it. Truck drivers in Britain use it to describe their lorries. Marvel made it a supervillain. The word is juggernaut. And here is the thing almost nobody knows. That word, that completely ordinary, unremarkable English word, comes from a specific god in a specific temple in a coastal town in Odisha, India. Not metaphorically, not loosely, directly. The English word juggernaut is a mispronunciation of Jagannath, and the story of how that happened and what it says about who gets to name things is one of the strangest, most unjust, and most fascinating stories in the history of language. Jagannath means Lord of the Universe. He is one of the most widely worshipped deities in Odisha, a form of Vishnu, and he lives in a massive ancient temple in Puri, right on the Bay of Bengal. But here is what makes him unlike almost every other major deity in the Hindu tradition. He does not look like what you expect. No intricate carving, no graceful pose, no refined features. Jagannath has enormous, perfectly circular eyes, no arms, and a flat cylindrical base for a body. He is abstract, geometric, unfinished looking. This is intentional. According to the ancient story, the divine craftsman Vishwakarma was commissioned to carve the deity, but with one condition. No one could enter the workshop until the work was complete. Days passed, weeks passed. The king, unable to contain himself, opened the door too early, and Vishwakarma vanished. What was left behind was this: a god caught mid-creation, a god who would never be finished. The theology here is extraordinary. The idea is that the divine cannot be fully captured, fully contained, fully completed by human hands. The incompleteness is the point. And this God, unfinished, abstract, boundary-breaking, is also the most radically egalitarian deity in the tradition. At the Jagannath temple, the sacred food, the Mahaprasad, is shared with all pilgrims, regardless of caste, regardless of class. You eat what the god ate. You eat it next to whoever else is standing there. At a time when caste determined everything, who you touched, who you ate beside, who you prayed near, Jagannath broke the rule. This is the god. The English language turned into a symbol of destruction. Once a year, Jagannath does something no other major deity in a closed Hindu temple does. He comes outside. The Rath Yatra, the chariot festival, has been celebrated every single year in Puri for over 1,000 years. Through invasions, through colonial rule, through everything. Jagannath, his brother Balabhadra, and his sister Subhadra are brought out of the innermost sanctum and placed on enormous wooden chariots, built fresh each year, no nails, no metal, just wood and rope, and pulled through the streets by hand. Jagannath's chariot stands 14 meters tall, taller than a 4-story building, 45 tons of wood, 16 enormous wheels, draped in yellow and red. The crowd that comes to pull those ropes, to witness, to be present, can reach 1 million people. 1 million people in the streets of one town on the same day, every year, for 1,000 years. And those people come from everywhere, every caste, every class, pulling the same rope, chanting the same name. The god walks among his people. He does not stay behind walls. Now, imagine you are a European traveler and you have never seen anything like this in your life. The first European to write about the Rath Yatra was a Franciscan friar named Odoric of Pordenone. He visited India in the 1320s. His account was vivid, dramatic, and almost certainly wrong. He described Hindu worshippers throwing themselves under the wheels of the chariot as an act of religious sacrifice. Here is what most historians now believe actually happened. In a crowd of that size, in the pressure and momentum of 1 million bodies in narrow streets, accidents happened. People fell. The crowd surged. Deaths, when they occurred, were almost certainly the tragic result of crowd pressure. Not willing sacrifice, but a Doric's version was more dramatic, and dramatic stories travel. 5 centuries later, a British chaplain named Reverend Claudius Buchanan picked up that centuries-old rumor and weaponized it. He was the first person to widely use the word juggernaut in British and American writing. And he used it deliberately as a symbol of Indian barbarism, as an argument for missionary intervention. The word juggernaut entered the English language not as a description, as a weapon. By the mid-1800s, Mary Shelley was using it for plague. Dickens used it for capitalism. Stevenson used it for Mr. Hyde. The first confirmed use in English dates back to 1638. 400 years of this word used daily, and almost nobody who uses it knows where it came from. The god who was famous for erasing caste, for being radically open, radically egalitarian, radically for the people, had become, in the Western imagination, a symbol of mindless, crushing force. Not everyone got it wrong. Mark Twain visited India in 1895. He looked at the same god, the same festival, and came away with something completely different. He wrote that Jagannath stood apart, that at his temple, master and servant, prince and beggar stood on the same level. He got it. Same festival. 2 completely different stories, depending on who is telling it and why. This is the thing about language. Words don't carry meaning. People carry meaning. And when one group gets to name another group's gods, the name almost always serves the namer, not the named. Juggernaut is 400 years of that. But here is the other thing about Rath Yatra. It still happens. Every single year. 1 million people in Puri. The chariots freshly built. The ropes pulled by hand. Jagannath coming outside to be with his people, the way he has for over 1,000 years. The word got taken. The festival stayed. So the next time you use the word juggernaut or hear it used, remember where it actually came from. It came from Puri, from Odisha, from a god whose whole theology is about refusing to be contained. That word belongs to him.